Welcome to Life in Timeless Art, where lightning strikes the soul's eternal canvas. I'm Joseph L.A.T.A, your guide through raw poetry, defiant visions and timeless creativity. We're breaking the rules of art and truth from Compton streets to the digital frontier. Today we dive into Kendrick Lamar's The Heart Part 2, a journey through 7 levels of awareness. Subscribe, ignite your spark, and let's create forever. Kendrick Lamar's The Heart Part 2 from his 2010 Kendrick Lamar EP isn't just a song, it's a raw poetic dissection of life in Compton, a city where systemic chains clash with human resilience. Featuring Dash Snow's haunting intro, the track explores survival, art, and the struggle to rise above. Here at Life and Timeless Art, we see it as a canvas for understanding society's consciousness. Kendrick doesn't hand us a list of 7 levels of awareness, but his lyrics paint a progression from ignorance to revolution. Through poetry, philosophy, and art, we'll unpack these levels, connecting Kendrick's Compton to our own creative battles. Look, let's dive in. Level 1, unconscious conformity, blind obedience to the system. Level 1 is the sleepwalk of society, unconscious conformity. Here people follow laws, norms and systems without a second thought. Dash Snow rejects this outright, spitting upon I don't believe in the laws or the system by any means whatsoever. I try not to obey them at any time. But for most, this level is a trap, living under rules that often oppress like invisible chains in Compton streets. In Compton or any marginalized community, the system, police, courts, poverty often traps rather than protects. Yet millions stay blind, conditioned to comply. Think of the worker clocking in, never asking why the game feels rigged. Level 2, awakening to systemic flaws, rejecting authority. Level 2 is the spark of awakening. You see the system's cracks, its lies, its bias. Kendrick captures this in his frustration. That's why I'm shaking my head when you rap this in bandisli. My stomach start turning, my nerves get to twitching. He's sick of petty rap beefs when bigger wars, poverty, incarceration rage on. This is the moment you realize the rules weren't made for you. In Compton, it's the teen dodging cops who know his name too well. For Dash Snow, it's rejecting laws that suffocate. He's not mad at the beef, he's nauseous at the distraction. While rappers trade bars over turf, the real war rages. Mass incarceration, redlining, schools that pipeline kids to cages. This is the awakening. In Compton, it's the 16-year-old who knows every cop's badge number. In your city, it's the artist priced out of rent by gentrification. Dash Snow's opening scream, I don't believe in the laws, is the soundtrack. The system wasn't built for us. Rejecting authority isn't rebellion, it's survival. Level 3, personal survival, navigating the trap level. 3 is the cage you can taste. Kendrick drops the thesis, I'm living the life of a brother, trapped brother. Inside the system, all you envision is trapped brother. This isn't metaphor, it's cartography. In Compton, the system, poverty, violence, prison is a cage. You know it's there, but survival demands focus. Dodge the bullet, make the hustle, stay alive. Kendrick's uncle, locked up, told him, rap about life, not rap brother. Don't let the maze rewrite your soul into just another statistic, because the trap doesn't just lock doors, it erases futures. This is the wisdom Kendrick inherits from his uncle doing life in Folsom State Prison. Survival is the spark, not the story's end. Is the compressed fury that turns coal into diamonds, pain into power, silence into a scream that echoes beyond Compton's borders. Kendrick's trap isn't just a cage, it's a pressure cooker. Every raid dodged, every dollar scraped, every night the lights stay on, forging something unbreakable inside. The cage doesn't just crack, it shatters, glass raining in slow motion as the runner's silhouette morphs into a glowing phoenix of ink and sound. In Compton or any marginalized community, the system, police, courts, poverty often traps rather than protects. Level 4, cultural reflection. The moment survival ignites into art, pain transforms into power, and the trap becomes a canvas. Kendrick declares, You see, my art is all I have, and victory tastes sweet, even when the enemy can throw salt, claiming music as his lifeline, his weapons, his testimony, because in Compton, where funerals outnumber graduations, a verse can outlive a bullet. Dash snow echoes it raw, quoting, music keeps me here, by far the main thing. This is where the survivor steps off the corner and into the booth, where the hustler trades the burner for a brush, where the mother's tears become the ink of a poem that travels farther than Rosecrans. Cultural reflection is the aftershock. The trap's rubble becomes the foundation of something eternal. Kendrick's verse doesn't fade, it echoes, ricocheting off Compton's walls into every ear that's ever felt caged. The enemy throws salt, but the wound becomes pearl. The cage becomes cathedral, the survivor becomes legend, and the world finally hears. Level 5, community consciousness, collective struggles. Level 5 lifts your gaze to the community. Kendrick raps, let bygones be bygones, but where I'm from, we buy guns and more guns to give to the young. He sees the cycle, systemic neglect, arming kids, trapping generations. This level is about shared pain, knowing your struggle is your people's struggle, and Compton is the mother mourning a son, the artist painting for the lost, exposing the assembly line of death, one hood, 24 24s like cloned Kobe's, not trophies but tombstones in training. Then the lens cracks open to Haiti's ruthless adolescence, to every corner where the same colonial script writers hunger in bullet points. This is grief weaponized, mothers at vigils not just mourning sons but mourning systems, muralists not tagging walls but etching epitaphs, every shared tear a brick in a bridge across oceans of neglect. Community consciousness is the aftershock of memory. The trap's rubble becomes a monument, every bullet casing see the lotus blooming in blood-soaked concrete. The mother's vigils, the muralists' epitaphs, the children's stolen futures, they don't just survive, they testify their collective heartbeat, a war drum that drowns out the system's lullaby. The cage isn't cracked, it's transcended, grief alchemized into solidarity, memory into momentum. The revolution isn't coming, it's already beating. Level 6, critical analysis, truth versus contradictions. Level 6 is the philosopher's battle, wrestling with truth. Kendrick says, I'm just caught in the loop of understanding the truth because it seemed like it's always clashing with science. The clash is physical, church on Martin Luther King Boulevard with bulletproof glass next to the liquor store. Existential, fear of flying versus a future so bright it blinds. The Kendrick Lamar OD warning, overdose on unfiltered reality until the system brands you mad. This is philosophical violence. Tear the Bible, burn the lab report, braid rosary beads with DNA, because neither faith nor fact is enough. You need both and neither. The survivor morphs into heretic prophet, the poet into scientist of the unseen, interrogating the loop until the chessboard of contradictions liquefies into ink. Not resolution but relentless evolution. The cage isn't real, the mind was. This interrogation isn't abstract, it's street level surgery. On the same block, a preacher quotes Proverbs while a 12-year-old clutches a burner tucked at graduation. Faith versus fatality, both scripted by the same system. Kendrick's future so bright-eyed go blind isn't hope, it's prophecy under siege, because the brighter the vision, the harsher the glare of redlining maps, prison pipelines and liquor store density charts that outnumber grocery stores 10 to 1. In Compton is the teen dodging cops who know his name too well. For Dash Snow it's rejecting laws that suffocate. Proverbs clash against prison statistics until the entire chessboard of contradictions melts into liquid fire, dripping molten ink that burns through the concrete of Compton, through the redlining maps, through the liquor store bulletproof glass, through every colonial algorithm that scripted death as destiny. The heretic prophet rises from these ashes, eyes no longer blinded by a future too bright, but weaponized by it, pupils dilated with the overdose of unfiltered reality the system warned would kill him. This isn't gentle enlightenment, this is ignition, the exact moment the survivor becomes the architect of rupture, veins coursing with liquid fire, carrying a blueprint written in the blood of every fallen homie, every stolen childhood, every prayer that went unanswered because the heavens were busy counting prison profits. Level 7 is visionary action, the apocalypse of rules where the heretic prophet becomes world breaker and world maker in the same breath. Kendrick plants the flag. I'm trying to change the rules that we've been confined to so the corporate won't make decisions. A declaration of war against every boardroom that pries dreams by the gram and every algorithm that turned black boys into profit margins. This is revolutionary architecture, 15 tracks when they demanded 7, calling it an EP just to watch the gatekeepers choke on their own metrics, rejecting the 24-frame corporate cage for raw 4K truth that bleeds off the screen. In Compton is the kid who once tucked a burner at graduation, now tucking verses into mics that travel farther than bullets ever could. It's Rosecrans and Central transformed from booking photo backdrop into global broadcast tower. The secret society isn't hidden, it's every listener who trusts the honesty, every ear that hears. I promise to keep it honest and feels the cage bars bend. Corporate throats swallow soul while victory tastes like gunpowder and honey. In Compton, the kid who once tucked a burner under graduation robes now tucks verses into mics that ricochet farther than any bullet. Rosecrans and Central morphs from booking photo backdrop into a global broadcast tower. Every corner liquor store replaced by a makeshift studio where the next prophet records destiny at 3 a.m. The secret society isn't cloaked in shadows, it's every listener who trusts the honesty, every ear that catches I promise to keep it honest and feels the cage bars liquefy in their hands. Every kid in Haiti, Brazil, London, Johannesburg who downloads the mixtape and suddenly sees their own chains glowing. Instead of on a toe tag, Kendrick doesn't ask permission. He rewrites the constitution in graffiti 808s and blood-inked liner notes, turning the trap's rubble into a throne forged from melted handcuffs. Prison bars and redlined property deeds. The revolution isn't coming, it's already crowned, and the crown is made of shattered glass. From every window the system told us we couldn't break, bow down or build with us. The choice was never yours. Conclusion. From the unconscious sleep of blind obedience to the electric jolt of systemic awakening, from the laser grid sprint of personal survival to the luminous alchemy of art as testimony, from the thousand heart thunder of collective grief to the molten interrogation of truth versus lies, we arrive at visionary's action, the total annihilation and rebirth of every rule that ever tried to cage a soul. Kendrick Lamar's The Heart Part 2 is not just a song, it is a 7-stage detonation, each level a deeper crack in the prison of the possible. The cage is not cracked, it is obliterated, its bars melted into crowns, its rubble paved into thrones, its silence shattered by a million voices now synced to the same war drum. That was Kendrick's 7-stage detonation, from sleep to crown. The cage is ash, the revolution is you. If this hit your soul, smash subscribe, ring the bell and drop your level in the comments. Which stage are you breaking through right now? The survivor is no longer running, the prophet is no longer questioning, the revolution is no longer coming. For the latest poems and blogs, visit www.lifeandtimelessart.com, where art doesn't just live, it rules. We out. Peace. Again.